mask noise and drop and get aggressive. But before I get started, or I guess as we get started, we're gonna go over Nomad first. So as Nomad, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get to Skylight and you're gonna help put down some air jabs. And now this is gonna be some free kills for whoever's ending up holding Skylight, and this is where they're gonna go. Ideally, your Nomad is probably gonna be one of your better players, since you're gonna be a little bit more aggressive on this. So first Nomad you're gonna throw right here, second Nomad you're gonna throw right here, and third Nomad you're gonna throw on this freezer door. Now, after you've gotten all of them down, obviously you don't have defuse. You're gonna be down here, and your Capitao, I'll go over that next, but your Capitao is going to claymore this door and claymore this door. So it's going to be safe for you to get on this rappel. And if you don't use that third Nomad on freezer door, you can actually try to Nomad someone out of this spot, or even Nomad someone out of this spot. So what you're going to do is you're just going to make sure that this is clear. This is essential for us to drop. Once this is clear, Nomad can be like, alright, this is clear, this is clear. Everyone starts dropping. You're going to get really aggressive. You're just going to make sure there's no one here, no one there. You're going to check down pillar. No, it's all clear. You're going to flash in. You're going to shoot to master noise. And you're just going to get really aggressive. You're going to quick peek. You're going to shoot someone here. People like to play here. If you flash them, you would have heard him flash. You would free fire that guy. Now, if there's not already punch holes here, you can then make punch holes here. And you can actually just start holding this. Now, the next operator that I'm going to go over is Capitao. Just gonna fall off the roof. Can I fall off the roof? I actually don't think I can. Should have brought breaching charges. So I gotta wait this out. But I can just get started in talking about what the plant is going to look like, I guess. So Aurora, who's going to be planting, is going to have a few different options. If this is clear, when she drops, this window being open here allows this Nomad to control this entire area. And that means when you straight drop, you can't get shot from heaven. The only place you can get swung from is over here, which is going to be smoked off. Over here, obviously down here, but Nomad should have already checked that. And then freezer here and here. Now these spots should be covered. Now if there's a freezer, rotate, and of course if there's a mirror here, you're not going to want to push over there. You're just going to want to straight up plant right here. But if it's all clear and you can get over here, this would be a great spot to plant. Not only that, but you also have trash bags here that you can plant on. These are both perfect spots to plant, and it will allow the Capitao to get some easy kills on the Skylight. Go over Capitao. Capitao's got a pretty important job. Actually, probably the most important, but it's also the easiest. So stick the worst player on it. If they want some free kills, maybe they've been having a bad game, you know, their aim's not there, this will guarantee some free kills. So first things first, you know, obviously watch for spawn peaks. Obviously watch for spawn peaks. We're gonna run up straight here. First claymore we're gonna do is right here. And honestly, it's probably better to spawn over by boats, river docks. And you can claymore this. The reason I like this facing this is because they often like to tear this down and get blown up immediately. They're not going to jump off that because your Nomad's going to be there. This window, if we have a spare claymore, it'd be nice to put there. That depends on the 5th operator. And then once you put that one first and then come down here, you can come over here. And you can actually upside down rappel and shoot here and catch anyone that's rotating here. Now only do it for half a second. If people are on that run, you're going to get that free kill, but if they're not, they might frag you out. Next, you're going to come over here, and when it's time to plant, so that's going to be once Nomad clears this entire area, all the air jabs are down, you're going to smoke off this door, and you're going to smoke off this door. Now, once that's done, your job is to stay alive. I'd like to put a drone up here. You can see everything that's going on. It's really important not to get greedy. If there's one person coming here, one person coming here, one person gets air jabbed here, and you go to peek that person, oh shoot, free kill, and this person swings you and you're dead, then you might have just lost the round. So that's why I like to just keep a drone up there, just stay alive. If you have a second person on Skylight, maybe they can grab the free kills, but it's really important for you to stay alive. So once you hear a tick, too many people don't know how to play post-plant. It's actually really difficult, but once you know how to do it, it's really, really easy. So the way you do it is you want to hear, you want to make sure they're actually diffusing. They don't want to fake it, and that's the point of the drone. So you hear them diffusing, you know they're sticking it, 1 tick, 2 tick. Oftentimes they'll probably like stick if it's in a big rush. So 1 tick, 2 tick. Okay, I'm gonna throw down my firebolt. Make sure it's already loaded. Boom, duck under cover. That check the drone. He's gonna burn. He's probably gonna die. Once that entire firebolt's run out, okay, another one. And of course, if there's like only 30 seconds left to the plan anyway, you might as well just throw one at 30, one at 20, and then just hold your life, just free fire whenever they plan. This is the easiest job. You're gonna get the freest kills. The only thing I think you need to be aware of is if there's a dock. For example, if you firebolting someone here, and let's say Rook is defusing, and Doc is in here, Doc can just keep stimming, checking, right? Like, and this guy might be able to get the defuse off. So that's just something you need to be aware of. If there is a Doc, you might have to just do one fireball and then just start shooting them, just because they have a Doc. But we're going to go over the next operator, which is Aurora, and ultimately the one that's going to be getting the plant down. And this is just to make sure that these spawns, just to make sure that everyone gets to where they need to be as quick as possible. Obviously default cam there. Check these spawn peaks. I should probably go over how to check spawn peaks, but I'm assuming you guys know how to do that. Don't just run straight there and lose Aurora, then the rush is over. Pop that hatch first, then pop this hatch. You can check common areas. Don't make too many holes, especially not in this wall. This is really gonna hurt you. Don't make any unnecessary holes. These can bite you. So once you get the Nomad there, you're gonna say, all right, Capital, I'm ready. Capital is gonna smoke. You're gonna throw your own smoke. You're just gonna lob it right off this. Boom, it's gonna bounce. It's gonna go there, and then you can throw another smoke right here. So you're just gonna jump in here. You're gonna jump in here, and everything's gonna be covered. And you're just gonna be able to plant right here. And once you get that plant off, hopefully the smoke is still there. You can go put Aurora there, and then these should have already been air jabbed. And if the air jabs have already popped off, then perfect. You now got Aurora to help you. And then the next Aurora you can put here, and then I like to just sit here. Now, oftentimes there's going to be someone that's going to push up here, but you can just sit in this corner, catch anyone that's running this way, and now if you hear Aurora open, boom, dead, and then even over here, if this guy dies, you can do this, and then you have a spare Aurora. Now let's say you forgot, oh shoot, I have breaching charges, you can just put this down here. Or even some people say that, like, if you have a breaching charge on this, they can't actually open this, but I mean, it's open for me. But you can even put a breaching charge on the ground and just blow it up for your teammate who maybe wants to hold below. And this will just be a very, very free post plant if you get a guy who's able to get below. Like maybe you get the call like, alright, I have breaching charges, I'm breaching below. The guy can run through train and he can just hold this vert, so you'll have a Capitao and you'll have this person. I'll just have to note that you want to make sure the Capitao doesn't shoot the bolt down here. He's gonna have to hit the ceiling or something, or hit right here, and then it'll drop down. But yeah, that's how you're gonna play Aurora. The next one is going to be a Ram or Gridlock, and you're gonna see why you don't really need a Sens, is because you're gonna have this inject off, you're gonna have this smoked off. There should not be anyone here, especially if you had this window control. But yeah, you're not gonna really need a Sens for this push, which is great because he honestly sucks. These should be opened up by Aurora, and you'll just be able to hold the red flank. Once people know that you're rushing, whoever's roaming is gonna have to come back up with red, and that's gonna be a free kill. But let's say you know where the last person is. I'm just gonna open.
Boogie deployed.
Let's just say that you know where the last person is. You don't have to hold red anymore. You can actually help with the push. The rush. So you're gonna ram here. You can change the direction so that the ram goes this way. It masks some sound, and then throw another ram over here. And this is honestly just gonna make it so that they're not gonna hear the planters. So whenever, see how much noise there is. Whenever you start planting, this is really gonna mask the audio, and then of course moving smokes as well to help you with the plant here. Maybe you want to smoke that. Maybe there's head holes here. You want to smoke this. Having more smokes can never hurt. So if these are all soft and they're not no holes in them, you know, you can honestly put a smoke here, put a smoke here, put a smoke here, put a smoke on this door. But as Aurora, the Aurora should come down. If there's a mirror on this, maybe roar that off. But this plant will be completely masked. There'll be so many smokes, and your team is just going to be all getting in. Now, where you're going to push once you drop that is you're going to be on the red hatch. You're just going to be able to watch anyone flanking and rotating out. Now, let's say you hear an air jet pop right here. This guy's going to be pretty disoriented. You can honestly drop here, and you can start watching this flank. If you know no one's going to be bottom red, you can just drop and hold pixel, hold pitch corner. Whoever's going to come through here, these are going to be like easy kills. And now we're going to go over one last operator. I honestly think a Finka's pretty good for a rush. It increases ADS speed. It really helps that nomad who's repelling in quickly to ADS. But let's say your teammates aren't great on Finka or hate Finka for whatever reason. A great operator would be to have a lion, and that would be making sure that they're like once the plant is about to go down, they're not all moving around. Your planter is going to be safe, and then also post plant, you pop the lion, just delays time and helps your team know where people are. As far as where lion's going to play, you can get on the repels up here. Lion's pretty like situational. Let's say you die on this hatch right here, your line's going to need to play on this hatch. Let's say you drop the hatch, your line can also play this hatch and hold
5 seconds left.
Or your line can get on these repels, hold this. Your line can also hold the top white repel over there.
You've run out of time.
Hold the cigar repel. But let's say your nomad dies on heaven, for example. Your line's going to have to rotate and take nomad spot, make sure that there's no one going to play that heaven balcony. But now that I've gone over, you know, maybe a little more of a fun way to attack Christmas, I mean not Christmas but top floor, let's go over maybe a more traditional way to attack top floor. So as Ash, if you want that, you're probably gonna have an Ash. Your Ash is gonna come over here, she's gonna claim more this door right here, and she's gonna claim more either this one or this one here. And Ash is going to be one of the people that gets on repel. So Ash is going to be on this repel. And she's going to be able to cut off the rotate here. But also if there's a mirror here, and there's usually a freezer rotate, another freezer rotate goes here. It actually goes more there. You're going to be able to cut anyone coming off the rotate. But most importantly, you're going to cut off the white push. But also pinch whoever's in sight. Now, the reason you're going to be able to pinch anyone is because your nomad, who is next, is going to be on this window right here. And she's going to be playing over here. And she's going to use the same exact nomad. She's going to keep one nomad in reserve that we showed the first round. You know, the one on the store over here, the one on the door over here. She's going to use the same exact nomads, and that's essentially going to make whoever's playing up in this balcony really, really scared. They're not going to really have anywhere to go. They're going to, if they come this way, boom, they're dead to you there. And if they go this way to rotate, they're dead to you here. Now, of course, you're going to have the nomad here, so if they say, okay, I'm just going to get out of here, boom, they're going to hit the nomad, and they're going to die to whoever is holding skylight. So you really sandwich this person that's in here, and you can eventually take cocktail lounge really easily and cocktail balcony really easily just by playing that. Now the next part you're gonna have, I'm just gonna cut myself quick. Say you know that there's people roaming white, there's a lot of people spot peeking white, you have to clear them anyway, but that might also indicate that the first rush I showed you is very plausible. So you're gonna take this a little bit slow. You're gonna make sure that there's no one roaming, there's no one here, there's no calves. You're gonna drone up this white stairs, and eventually you're just gonna take space. You're gonna keep taking space, and then drone again. Make sure there's no one on the white, there's no one here, there's no one here. And then what you can do is push into here. You can either push through here and push into 90, or you can just make yourself a rotate right here. Just be aware that you're flanked from white here. And what you're going to start doing is you're going to just start bucking this person from below. So hopefully you're going to have someone who's not on skylight or on these two repels, droning, maybe giving you some red pings, telling you where to buck. And this is going to allow you to really disrupt the person here. Now what of course is going to happen is like, help, I'm getting bucked from below, Someone is going to try and vault down here. This person's probably going to go like, boom, here, vault, and die to you. Because you're going to have that audio, or the person's going to vault down here, you're going to hear that audio as well. And your team can just play off of that. But once you buck this entire thing out, this person does not really have anywhere to play. It's a really good safe spot, and essentially you're just going to be able to play below. So once your team gets in, maybe the Nomad has defuse, maybe Ash has defuse. She can plant right here, and you now have vert to cover this entire thing. You can now have your teammate who drop new hatch and help you on this pillar, or you can get someone on this door and just watch this entire rotate down here. But once you have this entire area clear, that Nomad's going to die. Not the Nomad, but whoever's holding this is going to die. And then once you got all that down, you can either watch flanks because people know that you're down here and get a free kill, or you can push up white and help your teammates in here, maybe catch a push from Pixel, flash out bathroom, I missed that, get in here, kill people in the freezer, or roaming cigar lounge, not cigar, what is this called? I need to refresh my memory. Yeah, cigar lounge. But yeah, and then I'm just gonna go over Capitao real quick because I think Capitao is really, really strong on the top floor. Or actually, I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna go over
15 seconds left.
Ace or Thermite.
10
Since
seconds.
Capitao is pretty easy to understand, you just sit on the skylight, you just get free kills, catch a person running out of this door, and whatnot.
The time.
So obviously you're gonna have this hatch open, that hatch open as well. You can just start watching flank. But what I'd like to do as Ace, oh actually no, I'm throwing that there. But throw it from skylight and just drone for your buck. Like help him ping for people. Have a pre-place and reading, and just ping for buck. Help him get all these frags. And once that all happens, maybe you say like, hey buck, like push up red with me. And he's gonna be able to push up red and help you with the other side of the push. You're gonna get all this down. You're gonna get this entire control with the help of droning. And once you get that, you wanna of course make sure there's no one down here. Maybe buck helps you with red. And eventually you're going to want to ace this. Now if there's bandits, you can get on this rappel over here. You can just shoot them off yourself, upside down rappel. Now this is the hardest part to attack, and it's over here. As ace, I'd really recommend, if you're solo pushing this, your rest of the team is over there, you're probably not taking defuse. Maybe leave it on the roof or something in case you die. But let's say they're not holding this really well. Like let's say this entire thing is free. They got no head holes, they got no mirror, they got no freezer holes. And this is completely free. What you can do to start, like let's say your team took defuse and they're planting, you don't have it. You can hold this over here. This is a nice little hold there. There's sometimes there's head holes here. You can hold this. But ideally, you'd want to open up freezer so you can see all the way into this. And then also, I like to get the hole here. And that makes it so that if you have defuse and your buck either rotates to one of these rappels to help you take cigar, or your Ash gets off the heaven rappel, you can all push through here, eventually take this, and plant on trash bags. And this will allow your Capitao to essentially do what we tried to do the first round. But the key is that you're gonna have someone on this rappel. Maybe they took sight, maybe they just stayed on rappel. But yeah, so you're gonna have that plant done very well, and that's just two ways that you can attack top floor. Usually I play Ash on this with breaching charges. Actually, I'll go Ash just to show you what you can do. You'd want either a gridlock, a lion finka, someone to watch flank, and you'd want.
A bomb must be located.
I honestly think you can use Roar. Roar's pretty strong here. And someone to get the hatch, like either a Monty, and then you have the gridlock for the EMPs, or a recruit. So first person, Ash is gonna go here. Now, I put my pre-place as Ash. You're gonna want your pre-place drone up here. This is essentially, I mean, let's see if you gotta put the pre-place drone. You can just do exactly what I just did. But some people like to play here and throw a C4, and this C4 can land right here and kill you on this vent. But also this hatch can be open, and if this hatch is here, like you're just cooked. I think it's really good just to have a pre-placed drone here. This will allow you to get essentially a free kill. But once you get that done, your flank watch, put someone who maybe is a little bit new to the game on this. They have to have decent aim, so maybe an ACOG. And what you're gonna hold is just a very passive angle. Whoever comes up red, not as Ash, but whoever's on the flank watch, maybe it's gridlock. I usually like gridlock nomad, maybe it's a lion. You're just holding this passive angle. Whoever comes up red to flank whoever's in train is gonna die to you here. whoever comes through pillar up brown is gonna die to you here. And that's one person covering both flanks. And of course you know there's no one up there. But now as Ash, so you're gonna make that hole for your gridlock. First hole I like to make is this. Now if you have a line, you can say, hey line, give me a line call right now. He gives you a line call. Whoever's behind this bar is dead. This is just straight up dead. And this is where I really recommend planting because this post plant is so strong. Let's say a bunch of people don't know how to play post plant, but let's say we get the planter down as Ash, you're the last person alive. This is awesome. I just get my drone. I make sure that I make sure they're actually defusing, and then I peek. Right? It's a very free kill. Now as Ash, you can then come over here. This is what I end up doing. Put a breaching charge here. I check this pixel here, and I'll put another breaching charge here. And this allows me to check here. Now, if you remember this hole over here, you can actually then play over here and attack this, catch anyone who's playing this, but it's really great for watching this rotate in. Now, your Aurora is going to use a couple more breaching charges for you as well, but let's just get into the next round, where I'm just going to go a little bit more in depth. 17, I think it's just great.
You must locate and defuse a bomb.
So as Aurora, you're gonna come up here as well. Now I'm gonna highly recommend you have your please place drone either up here in heaven, all the way up in heaven, that can watch all brown flank and whatnot, or under this. Just coordinate with your gridlock. One of you is gonna have this flank. Now, when Aurora first came out, I thought, wow, she's going to be so broken. You can just roar off this door, you can roar off this door, and then you can roar off this door, and it's just super free. Like, your vert is like completely uncontested, like there's nothing they can do. What I ended up finding out is that people would just impact this wall, or they would just impact this wall, and when you're playing vert, you're just sitting like a duck, and you're just getting killed straight up. So you still, so then you might say like, hey, well, why don't you just have someone on flank watch? You said you have a gridlock there, and then eventually I'm gonna go over the guy who's watching white. Why don't you just have that anyway? But then at that point, you don't even need these Auroras, so you want to save them. Now, as far as the breaching charges go, put one here. This is good for your Ash because it's covering one here, here. These are areas to check. The other one goes here. This is why I like the 416. You make a little bit bigger of a hole, and this can also watch the rotate. And then finally, this hatch is not going to be soft. You're gonna have one to spare. You can either give it to gridlock, maybe right here, so she can get the hallway bird. But I do actually like one Aurora here. Just I do like that one, and you have lots to spare. So then you have one down here. Now, when you drop this hatch, there's only two places that you would think that like you need to really worry about, and that's this window, which is covered by Ash's Vert, and then behind the bar there, which is also covered by Ash's Vert. That's why I don't like to open up this white wall. Like, why give yourself another angle you have to worry about? But as Royal, if you're gonna drop down, you come over here, you just make sure there's no one here, make sure there's no one here, and you can just roar this off, right? Just get in there, ADS, quickly do it. Come over here. Now there might be someone on this door. You can just quickly come over here, roar that off, right? Right? And then what you're going to do is plant. I don't plant here. You're very tempted to plant here. The reason I don't really recommend planting here is because your Ash could just plant this. And once you have this roar off, you're able to run straight over here and just plant on this. Make sure to run pretty quick. Hopefully there's usually some holes here. I don't know, maybe there's some demons and they're holding this. Maybe they have head holes here and they're holding this entire rotate over from freezer. In coat check, right? Just make sure you get here, you can plant this down, and your Ash is going to be able to cover for this, and this is going to be a free round.
Time expired.
Now, for what I just showed, like, you know, let's say these guys are demons, they have a lot of vert, not a lot of vert, but a lot of, like, site control, they have a lot of holes, they're holding you from bakery, and, like, they have a rotating bakery, they're holding you, like, all the way through site. I think, instead of recruit, a Monty is really good, and you can have that Monty just push up and plant for free and just give free intel, free comms, and it's really great for the roam clear. But now I'm gonna go over gridlock.
A bomb must be located and defused.
So as Gridlock, you're just gonna play on this right here. You can crouch high, get a head push, just use the holes that Ash gave you. You can push up here as well and put maybe a Gridlock up here, put a Gridlock down there, force check it first, and really block that off. But once everything's all said and done, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna make for it yet until the plant goes down. But once plant goes down, for example, what you can do is you can, let's say the plant's already gone down, like your vert isn't really needed. You can come over here, you can start making vert down here. Maybe there's someone holding Harry Potter, you can kill that person. But what I think is really good is if there's someone in coat check. Usually once you have site control, the only person you're gonna really have to worry about is coat check. Hold this door here, you can come over here, and then let's say, oh, someone's gonna flank me red. Okay, I'm just gonna play super passive, I'll just prone here and get an easy kill on this guy coming up. And then of
Bomb has
course,
been located.
before you do that, you're gonna send your good looks over here, cover the brown flank, and then maybe your team is dying over here. You might need to make a rotate over here and just make sure white is gridlocked off. But really strong overall. You have EMPs as well. So like let's say you don't have recruit, you have a Monty instead. This hatch is electrified. You can come over here. You can get this thing EMP'd and gridlock that down in the same motion, and things should be all swell. Now I'll go into like the final operator role. It's kind of recruit. You're gonna really be helping Monty hatch drop, or Aurora hatch drop, and then you're gonna make your way over here. And I think this is the best way to hold white flank, is just holding this, because when people come up here, right, where you're gonna look, you're gonna be like, okay, someone's gonna be in train. Boom, you're gonna die to this guy right here. I think it's a really free kill. And once plant goes down, you don't really need anyone over. You can just like start making your way down here, pushing over here. What I'd like to do is, of course, there's no one gonna be in here. Is I'd like to make my way over here, and this is the hallway that people. Once you have site control, this is the hallway that's gonna, that's where they're all left, right? You're just gonna come down here. You're gonna get free kills from people rotating out of bakery onto this double door. You're gonna get people coming out of this. You're gonna hear the vault from coat check window. You're gonna get the free kill
15
here.
seconds remaining.
So as white, yes, maybe you have a little bit boring round in the beginning, like just holding
10
flank for
seconds
like
remaining.
2 minutes. But once plant goes down, you're gonna get most of the kills.
5 seconds
And
left.
this is pretty strong, pretty powerful. So the essential
You're out of
ops I would
time.
say is someone to get hatch, maybe it's crew, maybe it's Monty. Aurora's nice, a buck or an ash, and then a gridlock or lion on flank. I think gridlock's pretty good because you get that secondary shotgun and you have the grids, and you have EMPs, so I'd honestly say that one's essential. And then your last could be like, a lion or some random fragger, maybe a 4-stack. But yeah, that's how you would really attack Kafe.